Good morning. It is 9:20 a.m. on Saturday, May the 15th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So got some nice sleeping in today. Although Rocket has been a little bit restless this morning. I'm not sure why. Um, but I just gave him a chew toy to, chew on. So that ought to keep him busy for a little while. Last night we had another good session of Ironsworn Starforged, which, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, is a science fiction tabletop role playing game that can be played with more than one person, but it has a solo mode where it uses a lot of random tables to help you play by yourself. And so I've played it on stream a few times now, and it's a lot of fun. And it's also really interesting that this time around I've made a character who is actually not good at fighting. And they are religious. You know, it's just like sci-fi religion. They are a pilgrim of the ascendancy, who we believe is an ancient race that learned how to transcend physical reality. And my character believes that that is, humanity's destiny and one to be sought out, not avoided. And so is trying to learn more about that so as to better shepherd, humanity in that direction. But, that's a long term plan. And in the meantime, you still got to eat, still got to get fuel for your starship. And so there's a little bit of, Mandalorian or Guardians of the Galaxy vibes in there. But my character, like I said, is not great at fighting, so I'm having to be a little bit more clever. But like in last night's session, I helped free a woman from indentured servitude, did some hacking, did some smuggling, all for virtuous purposes, of course, um, in order to, get things done, and then set off on a new expedition. It was pretty good. I'm enjoying it. So if you want to check that out, the VOD is already on the YouTube channel here. You can check that out. And what I would say is that, like, certainly you could go back and start from the session 0, but I would say you don't really need to do that. Like, if you want to if you're curious, you could just jump into the latest one. It's fine. You'll be fine. Um, I also last night watched for the first time The Greatest Showman. And, this is a movie that I had some interest in when it was new, but just kind of never made it, never got around to watching it. Um, even during that year's Oscar marathon, where one of its songs was one of the Oscar nominated songs. It didn't win. I'll talk more about that in a second. But so, like, I had been aware of it for a while. But recently, one of the YouTube like video series that I find interesting, which is called Cinema Therapy, had some videos on it, and so I decided to go ahead and finally watch it. And what I'll say is, yeah, I mean, it's fun. I'm glad I watched it. It's not one of my favorites, but it's definitely got some good stuff in it. The songs are pretty good. Um, I like I like the visuals of it. I think the story is good, but a bit perfunctory. Like some of the character bits, just I feel a little bit like I don't I don't enjoy what's happening, and I'm not sure that they really motivated us to believe it. And you know, in particular, just like some of the parts where I think maybe part of what it is that the idea of the whole thing is sort of a very loose biography of P.T. Barnum and his circus. But I think one of the things that kind of stood out to me as feeling a little bit weird is the fact that he puts together a show that would be called, colloquially, a freak show. Now, he tries to spin that as not being a, hey, everyone, come and stare at the freaks, but having it be more a positive thing like, hey, everyone, come and see the fascinating variety of humanity, and supposedly making it, like the way he sells one of the characters, Tom Thumb, who is very small. The way he sells it is, like his first pitch is like, well, if they're going to laugh at you anyway, you might as well get paid for it, and that doesn't work. And what makes headway is when he says, what I envision is you riding a horse across the stage in this amazing military uniform, and people won't laugh, they'll salute. And and later, like the whole idea of like he's like supporting and celebrating these unusual people rather than putting together a freak show. But there's a fine line to be walked with that kind of thing. It's why we don't have a lot of those sorts of things these days, because it is kind of has the, like, as much as you might want it to be this celebratory, dignified, like giving people dignity vibe, a lot of the people buying tickets don't feel that way about it, and you can't really control that. And it would, the real history of those things is very exploitative. And so I feel like this movie kind of just teeny tiny dances around that issue and then mostly ignores it. And then there's a part later where, Barnum himself, played by Hugh Jackman, starts feeling ashamed of them and shutting them out, and that just feels extremely hurtful in a way that he doesn't ever really need to apologize for, even though so I don't know, but I will say that a lot of the music is pretty good, although overall I feel like it felt too slick and produced and auto-tuned and perfect, rather than kind of the the joyful live rawness of some musicals. Uh, but a lot of the songs are actually really pretty good. I like the story okay. Um, but yeah, I liked it fine. I'm glad I watched it. All right. I'm going to leave it there for now, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes. Remember, tonight on Twitch will be the next episode of Rime of the Frost Maiden, with the party exploring some scary ice tunnels. It's very cool. All right, so talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes. I need to stop saying the end phrase and then keep still talking.